trans women are women, you would say, right?
I would say that, yeah.
Exactly the same?
Yes.
Okay,
You get to go into the mind of these crazy trans people. So this is Matt Walsh, and he's asking questions to this trans person. Listen.
Hi, Matt. I'm transgender. I'm born and raised here in New Mexico. I have a graduate degree in information technology, marketing, business, and finance. I own my own home. I pay taxes. I have a 6-figure job. I'm a respected professional in Albuquerque.
Nobody cares.
I'm a mother. My life experience is that I'm an awesome person. I am well liked. I'm responsible, and I think I'm pretty cool. You touched on something. You said something earlier that for you, when somebody calls you a man, it doesn't faze you because, like, you just know that you're a man. That was interesting to me because I feel the same way about my identity as a woman. My question leading up to this, you've asserted that no one would ever see me as a woman, that nobody would ever see or could see a transgender person as a woman. And yet, I have dozens of friends from diverse backgrounds, women from the reservation, a woman from Japan, several immigrant women. I have my coworkers, I have my boss, my VP, my CEO, all respecting me as a woman, my family, my long-term friends who are actually here with me. All of these people assure me, like, I'm a woman. They'll tell me, girl, like, there is no way you are a man. They see me as a woman. So the question,
okay,
how can you assert that nobody would ever see me as a woman when my material experience tells me you're wrong?
Okay. It's interesting that that's the part of my talk you chose to ask a question about, because that's not in my talk at all. I don't believe I said that no one would ever see you as a woman. I mean, it's possible, I suppose, that you could fool someone. Now, you brought this up, so I have to tell you that you brought this up. You've put your identity on the table for conversation.
Yeah, you did.
And so I'm going to say you wouldn't fool me at all.
I see a man, not me 100%. Either. You look like a home man.
And I think that most people would. She
looks like
now,
a home.
The fact that you have people in your life who are saying to you, "Oh, you're totally a woman," it's exactly what I'm talking about.
And
no one in my life has ever once said to me,
"Look at me,
you're totally a man, Matt." You know, if a friend of mine called me on the phone and said, "Listen, Matt, I want you to know you're really a man," I would think that there was something wrong with him. I would say, why are you saying that at all? It doesn't make any sense. So the fact that this is a conversation to begin with tells me, it only proves the point that I'm trying to make, that your identity, even in your own mind, is up for, it's something that you need to be assured of. Now, what I would like to ask you, again, because you're standing here, and so you've brought your identity on the table for discussion. So how do you know that you're a woman?
It was first when I heard transgender persons describe their experience in their own words. And this was only about 2 years ago.
Guys, make sure you're liking.
Hearing somebody describe things, it was a woman from, like, England, describing her experience, her childhood, her teenage years. And it blew my mind to be listening to her, because it was just some podcast that I was listening to while I was, like, doing laundry. But it blew my mind to hear somebody so eloquently and precisely describe things that I had experiences that I had experienced.
What did they say?
Okay. So.
Okay, I get, okay, listen. You went to trans people to affirm that you was trans. To help you figure out what a woman. You went to non-women people to bolster your belief that you was a woman. I mean, I'm just like, it's just the level of indoctrination is unfreaking believable. Now, this man has degrees. If you go to school and you come out of school after paying probably $80, $90, $100,000, and you think with everything in you that you are not the sex that you were born, you need a refund because you got shammed, you got duped, you got played, you got bamboozled. Nobody goes into an institution knowing that they are a man or a woman and then come out and thinking that they can be something else and then actually believing and demanding that people call you the opposite sex. You got played.
I am honestly hesitant. I know that you touched earlier about the difficulty that transgender women might have in describing their identity, but I want to state, I honestly don't feel that you would engage in this conversation in good faith.
Then why are you
And
here?
so-
Why did you stand up to talk to me if you don't want to have a conversation? You're saying that you discovered that you're a woman. I'm asking you how you did. That's a very fair question.
Okay.
How do you know that you're a woman?
That's fine.
Yeah, how do you
All
know?
right. So first of all, listening to transgender people, and it was like, okay,
Transgender
this is a one-off, one person describing these things. Things like looking at yourself in the mirror and not recognizing yourself. Hearing compliments like, you are such an example, like a positive masculine role model.
Mine,
And
yes.
just hearing that and being like,
Right.
it feels like they're
I
talking
have
about
fun.
somebody else.
I love listening. Thank you.
It means feeling alone, even when you're surrounded by guys, even when you have a lot of friends. And I was active in like Boy Scouts. I'm an Eagle Scout. I had great masculine role models my whole life. And yet I never felt like I belonged. I felt welcome and
But
included.
why does that make you a woman?
Because
As opposed to just a man who doesn't get along with some other men, or a man who's depressed, or a man who doesn't feel at home totally in his body, which, by the way, is a pretty universal human experience. Everybody goes through it at one time or another. So in what way does that make you a woman, though? And it's interesting. You're telling me that you listen to the experiences of other transgender people.
Well, yeah.
But what about women?
So
Because trans women are women, you would say, right?
I would say that. Yeah.
Exactly the same?
Yes.
Okay, well then why do you need to hear the testimony of trans, quote unquote, trans?
This man said trans people, trans women are exactly the same as women. But you can't even tell me what a woman is. This stuff is real. I mean, it really pisses me off because being a woman, having daughters, and you see these men slap on a wig and put on some lipstick, and now they are supposedly women. It's just such a disrespect to women, to real women. It's so disrespectful. Jerry, he's just funny. But he believes this. He believes this stuff. You would think that the feminists, all the women, all the people that have been coming out saying believe all women, all the Me Too's and all of the things, you would think that they would be coming out in force. Like, hold up, y'all tripping. Like, no, you're a man. But you know what this is? And this is what I used to tell people a long time ago. Nobody wanted to believe me. This is part of critical race theory. Critical race theory says that no matter what, America is intrinsically racist, and that if you are a part of the dominant society, that you are the oppressor, and that everyone else who is not a part of that, you're oppressed. So you have the oppressor. If you're white, heterosexual, male, Christian, you're the oppressor, right? Anybody else, particularly minorities, you are oppressed. But here's the other part of critical race theory that gets overlooked: intersectionality. So Kimberly Crenshaw came in and was like, well, we have to add to critical race theory, which is a communist Marxist ideology. They said that there are levels to this. There's a hierarchy. So if you're a Black man, you're less of an oppressed person to a Black woman. If you are a woman, if you're a trans woman, that's why a trans woman is the ultimate oppressed, a Black trans woman. You see how that works? So what? So these men are now slapping on wigs and saying, "Oh, let me swim on your team. Let me put on all these things, and I'm going to get out of this oppressor category." It's insane. This is insane, but this is intersectionality. If you want to go look it up, that's what it is. It's called intersectionality. This is how communism works. Puberty, it can't. These are permanent. When they start taking those puberty blockers and all that stuff, it cannot be reversed. It is what it is. You are permanently damaging yourself. And some of these young women do not know, and young men do not know if they will ever even have children. But these things come from communism, because communism says you have to aggravate, agitate the margins, get the margins, meaning the oppressed people. You have to aggravate and irritate them, get them into the mainstream so that they can, all the laws and rules of your society and your traditions can be torn down, and then they can be put on top. That is what is happening in your country right now. What are you going to do about it? The communists are taking over your country. They've cultified the children. They've cultified the Democrat Party. This is what is happening to your country. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do? What are the history books going to say? What are they going to say when they talk about you? Are they going to say, when your name comes up, are they going to say, yeah, they were there. They said something. They did something about it. Or is the history books going to say, well, they knew what was going on and they just decided to, lay down? Because that's where we're at. And yes, we absolutely do have to pray. We absolutely do have to pray. Let's finish this up. So disturbing.
Trans women, like how you take any actual woman in this room? In what way do you know that you belong in the same category as them?
I know because they tell me. So here was
You need them to tell you what you are?
Women. Yes. I trust the opinions of the women around me.
And if most women,
it's incredible. You might try it sometime.
If most women voted and said they don't see you as a woman, would you say I'm not a woman anymore?
If who?
If most women voted and said they don't see you as a woman anymore, would you then relent and say I'm not a woman?
I would say most people on the planet have no idea who I am.
Oh, you sound like a man to me right there. You really, you scared me. Whoa. Your wig is not helping you, boo. Your wig ain't helping, okay? Because you sound like I'm a man. You sound like a whole man. You're really not fooling anybody. You really did scare me. You really did scare me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you for watching. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.